Hey everyone, Mithzan here, and I cannot wait to show you what I've been doing on my hardcore Ironman. So in the last video, I kinda gave you guys a rundown of what old school RuneScape is and what it has to offer, as well as the brand new game modes like Ironman, Hardcore Ironman, and Ultimate Ironman. So I decided myself that I wanted to create a hardcore Ironman account to see how far I can get. And my goal for the first video is to complete all of the free-to-play quests, including Dragon Slayer. So I created the account Mobilezan to do just that. Just like every account, I started on Tutorial Island and worked my way to the mainland. Remember, you can also play old school RuneScape at any time. It's available for free on Android and iOS devices, as well as your PC. Just go to osrs.game/Mithzan and join in on the fun. So the first quest I decided to do once I got off of Tutorial Island was called Restless Ghost, and the reason for that is because it gives you a buttload of prayer experience, especially for free-to-play. Then I decided to help the cookout in Lumbridge, help out this farmer shear some of his sheep. After completing 3 quests in a row, I decided to take a break and train some combat. So I went across the bridge and started training on some goblins until I was a decent level. Nothing too much to write home about, but the goblins do drop a lot of useful things, like a chef's hat, bones, and even some bronze armor you can sell. I then ran out of food, so I had to go fish for a little bit. But I saw it as a good opportunity for me to raise my fishing and cooking levels. Then I went right back to slaying goblins. I got my defense, strength, and attack all to level 5. After that, I decided to help Romeo fall in love with Juliet. Unfortunately, he didn't really love her that much. So, no, I still beat the quest though. So this area might look a little familiar to some of you. This is where I accidentally hit live stream instead of record while I was doing this quest, but I ended up beating it anyway. I then helped Ernest turn from a chicken back into a human, and then the doc was nice enough to give me a couple hundred coins. I stopped a murderer, and then was rewarded a couple gems and some crafting experience. After I did all that, I decided it was time for me to do one of the most dangerous things on my account, and that was get a free 10,000 gold in the Stronghold of Security. So in order to even get into this area, you have to activate your 2-step authenticator. That might seem like a little bit of work, but trust me, it's worth it to keep your account safe. This is where I almost died, if you can't tell. But hey, I lived, and I lived to tell the tale. Then I got my 10,000 gold, but I wasn't done yet. I decided to go a little bit further where I almost died again in order to get just a little bit more fashion to my account. I got some dope rainbow boots. Look at those! Fashion! I then teamed up with my buddy Ross and we completed the quest Shield of Aerith together. I helped gather ingredients for a witch and she rewarded me with a couple hundred magic experience. It was really good starting off. I was then given a treasure map by a pirate, which led me here so I could dig up the treasure and claim the rewards for myself. After a lot of questing, I decided it was time for me to train my magic, so I used the 10k that I got from the Stronghold of Security to purchase some runes. But before I trained, I decided to unlock the rune crafting skill through the quest Rune Mysteries. Then it was off to the south entrance of Falador to constantly kill imps until I can get all 4 color beads to complete the quest Imp Catcher. And boy howdy, did that take a while. But hey, I eventually got the last bead and I was so stoked. I gathered all 4 beads, returned them to the wizard, and he granted me with a buttload of magic experience, as well as an amulet of accuracy. Ran a couple errands for this dwarf and he rewarded me with some mining experience. I then decided to help this squire replicate the sword that he lost, and he rewarded me with 12,000 smithing experience. I went from like 3 to 29! After feeling pretty confident, I decided to take on a vampire, and ended up saving all of Draenor Village. Foiled the plans of the Black Knights, and was rewarded with a buttload of cash. I solved what was the cause of the Corsair curse, and saved the Prince of Al-Creed, who was abducted. After completing almost every single quest, I decided to take a little bit of a break and start training on chickens to raise up my combat. By doing that, I was able to pick up their feathers so I can train fishing later, and train each of my combat stats up to 15, including prayer. One of the things that I love about mobile so much is the fact that I can play it at my own pace. I ended up going over to my friend Calvin's house and playing D&D with everybody. And just while I was playing D&D, I just tapped fishing on the side. I ended up getting to level 40 fishing and 40 cooking in just one night. 40 fishing's a big deal because now you can fish lobsters, which is one of the best foods you can have in free-to-play. I then realized that I only have 2 quests left in all of free-to-play, which was Demon Slayer and Dragon Slayer. I was definitely too weak to complete Dragon Slayer, and I was actually too weak to complete Demon Slayer as well. So I decided to go to Varrock Palace and train on the guards as much as I could, and tried to get my attack, strength, and defense to at least 25. After everything was level 25, I ended up accepting the quest from the Gypsy in Varrock, and was presented with the Silver Light by Sir Pryson. Once given that magical sword, I ended up slaying the demon Delrith, sending him back to where he came. And then I kind of booked it out of, the Dark Wizard Circle because I didn't want to die. And then right back to the grind. I decided now was the time for me to train up my attack, strength, and defense all to level 30, including my magic. I needed to get magic to level 33 for Dragon Slayer, because that's important. Once I got my stats to level 30, I decided it was time for me to upgrade my weapon. I went from Mithril to Adamant, which is slightly better. So now, here's where I decided to do something dangerous. I wanted to try and kill one of the hardest NPCs in free-to-play, which are Moss Giants. They were pretty tough for my level, and I wasn't really doing too much damage, but after a couple kills, I realized that I should probably train a little bit more. So I went back to the Varrock guards and trained all of my stats to 35! And it flew by pretty fast. Not gonna lie. I then decided to head to the Hill Giants to try and train a little bit more. I got my attack level to 40, which was really important because then I could purchase Rune, the best weaponry in free-to-play. But I was low on money and needed around 32,000 coins. So I actually figured out a money-making method specifically for Ironman. If you go to Al Kharid, there are 3 silver rocks that you can mine. Once you get a full inventory, head to the furnace and smelt all of them into silver bars. Then, once you finish the entire inventory, smelt them again into holy symbols. Once you have a full inventory, sell 5 of them to the local shop if none of them are in stock, and then switch worlds and do it again. You get at least 400 coins per 5 that you sell. It might not seem like a lot of money, but it does stack up. After grinding it for a couple hours, I ended up with 32,000 coins. I was so ecstatic that I teleported straight to the Champions Guild. Ran as fast as I could inside of it, because I was excited to buy my first rune weapon. Now that I had one of the best weapons I could possibly have in free-to-play as an Iron Man, I felt I was almost ready to start Dragon Slayer. I trained my strength and defense, forgot to record the defense level, and felt I was ready to start Dragon Slayer. Your goal in Dragon Slayer is to get to Crandor Island to kill the dragon Elvarg. In order to do that, you need to obtain the 3 map pieces located in different areas. The first one is in Mad Melzar's maze. Once I got there, I swiftly made it through the maze, ended up killing Melzar and his pet demon. After that, I easily obtained the first map piece. The second map piece was stolen by a goblin named Wormbrain. If you use range or magic, you can take out Wormbrain and pick up the map piece using telekinetic grab. That's why I needed level 33 magic. And the final map piece location is told to you by the Oracle on Ice Mountain. Head deep below the Dwarven Mines and use a Wizard Mind Bomb, a lobster pot, an unfried bowl, and a piece of silk on the door. Once you use all the items, it'll let you through. Loot the chest, and there you have it, all 3 map pieces. Use them together, and voila, you have the map to Crandor Island. Now, it's time to prepare to kill Elvarg. If you're a free-to-play Iron Man, I highly recommend going to the Apothecary in Varrock. If you bring him some red spider eggs and limpwort roots, as well as 5 coins, he'll make you some strength pots, which will boost your strength level and let you hit harder. Now, it's time to sail to Crandor Island. With Captain Ned on your team, as well as your little cabin boy who doesn't last too long, you journey your way there to stop the vicious Elvarg the Dragon. Now this fight was a real nail-biter for me, because if I died, I lose everything that I've worked up to. And it was pretty hard, he kept hitting constant 9s and 10s on me. This was a pretty long fight as well, because I wasn't getting as many hits in because Elvarg has pretty high defense. I only had 4 pieces of food left before I got in the final blow. So I only would have lasted just a little bit longer before he would have killed me. But nevertheless, I was able to take down Elvarg and complete Dragon Slayer on my free-to-play hardcore Iron Man. That's a pretty big achievement if you ask me. So, after completing every single free-to-play quest that they had to offer, I knew that there was one thing left to do, and that was to go through the Members Gate and experience old school RuneScape on the members servers. Be sure to tune in next week to find out what it's like to be a member on old school RuneScape. Remember, you can also play old school RuneScape at any time. It's available for free on Android and iOS devices, as well as your PC. Just go to osrs.game/Mithzan and experience this adventure for yourself.